Don't think he's going to top that one because that was really impressive. I like the additions that they made, with Juju Smith and Sky Moore and Marcus Van Scalen. I think those guys are big-time playmakers. I just don't think he's going to top the 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns.
Okay, the Patriots will miss the playoffs.
I'm going to wipe that one out. I know everybody has a lot of questions about the play call situation, but Bill Belichick, Matty P, Joe Judge, they'll get it figured out. Mac Jones will have a big second year, and I think that defense is highly underrated.
Okay, and now the last one. 49ers should keep Jimmy Garoppolo.
I'm going to keep that one. He's won them a lot of football games. He has like a 70% win percentage. He's done a lot for that organization. I think you should keep him, restructure the contract. You don't know how the Trey Lance situation is going to play out. God forbid he gets injured. And you have a guy who you know what you can get from him. He's still there on your team.
All right, we'll talk a little bit about Jimmy G later in the show in terms of what happens with him and when they have to make a decision. But let's go to another place where they got to make a decision on a quarterback in Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger, remember that guy? He made an appearance at training camp yesterday with a fresh retirement glow. And Steelers quarterbacks Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett both spoke and provided their pitches to be the next starting man in Steel City.
Yeah, for sure. I think I have just how I carry myself every day, what I've done on the practice field. Would like to do more last game, obviously, but hopefully get another opportunity this week to show why I should be. And
I'm going to play my ass off and then, let the coaches, I trust them 100%. Whatever they think is best for the team, that's what we're going to roll with, and I'll be the best at whatever I can do.
All right, they're both handling it well. Diana, what's the very latest coming out of Pittsburgh on this?
All right, so this quarterback competition has certainly heated up just because what we've seen from the young rookie. I think he's showing a lot more than I think what some people in the organization expected at this point in the season. But I was told last night when I had a conversation with a Steelers source that this is Mitchell Trubisky's job to lose, meaning Mitchell Trubisky is the starter. And essentially, if he just makes major mistakes, or not just does it, but if he winds up making some major mistakes, that's when we could see the rookie step in. But for now, this is Mitchell's job.
Okay, his job to lose. So, James, I ask you, who should start week 1 in Pittsburgh?
Mitch Trubisky should be the week 1 starter. Like Diana said, he hasn't done anything to lose the job, so I think he deserves to be out there week 1. I think he gives them a running threat. Their offensive line isn't, the greatest, so I think he can run some read options, do some things like that, get him outside the pocket, and he can scramble a little bit to kind of, relieve some of those offensive lineman woes. So I think he should be the day 1 starter, but I think everybody will be calling for Kenny Pickett by week 4. So there's definitely going to be pressure on him.
By week 4, that's fast. What do you think?
That is quick. I agree. I think Trubisky should be the guy week 1. And here's the thing. I think it's unfair. People are comparing the numbers like Kenny Pickett and Trubisky. And if you look at what Kenny Pickett did, most of the completions are very short completions, and he's letting them run after the catch, which is great for a rookie. But he's also playing against light competition. When teams start scripting for you and planning for you, which will happen a little bit more this week than has in the weeks prior in the preseason, it's a different game. And so I think people need to kind of pump the brakes right here about how his progression has looked. You see him competing against one of the best defenses in practice. You love to see that. But don't just take the preseason games and think you're going to make your decision based on those things. Trubisky has done a good job. Again, he's, I think, 9 of 15, but he understands when teams script against you what it's going to look like. And I'm going to say this because James said it is a great point. This isn't just this line is bad. Okay, this is a bad offensive line. So a quarterback that can use his legs and use that zone read and all the different pieces and parts of Trubisky's game, I think make the Steelers better right now than Pickett from the pocket. Just because I think when teams known passing, downs, it's going to be ugly. It could be ugly for Pittsburgh. So I'm just saying that from a rookie perspective. You don't want a bunch of exotic defenses and no protection. That leads to a beat-up body, and that's not what Pittsburgh is looking for.
It's a good point. You don't want to throw him to the wolves.
Right.
He's a rookie. You don't want to have his confidence damaged. But, James, you played against Trubisky. What did you see from him on the field that told you what kind of guy this is?
We played him in 2018, and he actually gave us some problems. He did throw 2 interceptions, but he made some plays with his legs. He had 81 yards rushing. So, look, he's scrambling here to the right, turns completely around, and finds his way into the end zone. So that's the type of plays that he can do if the offensive line isn't going to hold up. You don't want to just throw Kenny Pickett out there. I know we played Sam Darnold early in his career, and, we were running cover 0, and after the game, he's like, I was seeing ghosts out there. So you don't
that will never go away from him.
You don't want Kenny Pickett seeing ghosts because that could lead for a long, frustrating year. So I think Mr. Trubisky should be
and emphasize that. Like I don't think people understand when defensive coordinators know who's playing. And they will script you up as – I mean, listen, there's a reason that they're defensive coordinators in the NFL, and they are going to give you all kinds of problems. You don't face that at all. You barely see it against your own defense in preseason. You dang sure ain't seeing it on the game day. So it is a completely different feeling, and it happens fast. When you talk about the speed of the game increases, wait till defenses start giving you some things you haven't seen, jumping things that you fall in love with. I'm gonna jump it off here. I'm going to get the ball out of my – they'll get on that. They'll stop that too. So the concern is real about his progress as far as can he do it. Again, let Trubisky come in. It might be week 4. It might be before. It might be a little after. It's his job. He's going to be the starter for Pittsburgh. Don't rush it if he's not there.
And let's not forget, he might do a great job.
Absolutely.
In which case they say in
Light
Pittsburgh, let's keep him. Diana, I'll give you the final word.
But look, the Steelers are really pleased with their rookie quarterback in Kenny Pickett, with not just what he's doing on the field, but his intelligence in the meeting room. But look, they made an investment in Mitchell Trubisky. They want this to work. And I did have a conversation with someone in Pittsburgh last night who said, here's the best part about this. Competition breeds success. And when you have a good quarterback competition, everyone's just playing better.
I love how you said that because it's made everybody better in that quarterback room. I am sure of it. Now, let's go to this. Meanwhile on planet Earth, this had me cracking up this morning.
Almost a quarter of a century in the NFL. He's dealt with every possible situation, not having receivers, not having linemen, not having a run game. He'll get this thing figured out.
What do you think?
Yeah, listen, this is more concerning for me than the Tyrants, but I'll tell you why. Like this group, the interior 3 that you saw, one retired, one went to the Bengals, and one is now injured. They had played 2,000 snaps together. That's a lot of snaps, right? So the comfort level of the interior portion of the pocket was fantastic. So although Dan doesn't listen often, he must be listening to me because offensive line play does matter, especially for those down the field shots. So I take his point, and I love that he said it because that is fact. The other point, the other side is, if there is a guy who can deal with this, I played against him, you played with him for a number of years, Tom Brady will find a way to make this work. And listen, whether it is dink and dunk, whether it is scheme, irrespective of what he's asked to do, he will find the way to put his team in the best position to be successful. And I will say this. When it comes to Tom Brady having a dink and dunk, use his running backs, use his tight ends, whatever is required, before the ball is even snapped, he knows where he's going to go with the ball. So it's not like, and I think he's less than 2.5 seconds in the pocket anyway, so he's one of the fastest in the NFL. He already understands how to do this. It will not take him out of deep shots. I'm telling you right now, it might, at the beginning of the season, it might affect him. Do not believe the hype that this dude ain't going to take shots down there, because he will take them shots. He'll design them, he'll scheme them, whatever. He's going to hit Evans. He's going to find, he's going to find Julio Jones. He is going to find ways to push the ball down the field because he understands that's how to stretch defenses, and they can't walk down and try to force him to do something he don't want to do. This is not a Ben Roethlisberger the last 2 years type offense. Guaranteed they will still challenge down the field.
Diana, go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff, you bring up a good point. So we're sitting here trying to dissect what this offensive line could look like and how it could cause perhaps some problems, especially that interior part of the line. And that makes all the sense in the world. But, Jeff, the sense I was getting when I was around Tampa wasn't the O-line. It's the receivers that they have concerns about, right? Yeah. The health of them. We know that Chris Godwin, he was working to the side. He's getting back. They did tell me that they have really optimistic feelings about his return earlier in the season. Mike Evans, obviously no Gronk. And look, Julio looks great right now. Let's see how Julio is in just a few weeks, right? Because this is the problem with him. I love Julio Jones. He's phenomenal, right? We know how great he is. But we saw what he was in Tennessee, which was really nothing because he just couldn't stay healthy.